All right, you guys, what's up? Welcome to the YA podcast. I have some of my friends, colleagues, coworkers, friends, though.
Heroes.
Heroes, yeah. Of course, Ethan. I've always looked up to you. On the podcast today, we're just going to be talking about friendship. All things friendship, good friendships. Are you a good friend? Are you a bad friend? What does it look like to be either of those things? What are the friendship mistakes we've made? How do you show people Jesus through your friendship? How have you seen Jesus through other people's friendship? We're going to talk about all of it because I just feel like young adults are trying to figure out how to be a good friend and how to find great friends and what does that look like. So I'm going to introduce our guests really quick and then we're going to dive on in to all the fun. Okay, let's start with you two. Your friendship. Jordan, Halbleib.
Hard eye, Halbleib.
I know that it's Halbleib, but I don't know why
so
I did that.
So many iterations of it, I just go with
But
them.
you go by Jordo now, so we're doing Jordo. We were youth pastors at the same time, but now he's a campus pastor at the Arvada campus.
That's right.
And is the best and fun. And we made friends at when I was an intern at YA.
I know, we were like greeting together. You were, I guess, my boss for a little bit.
Was I?
You kind of handed us the signs.
Yeah, because you had a good personality. It was your cheerleader essence that I knew.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that guy needs a sign.
Give me a good boombox, a good playlist, and I'll dance in the rain, the snow, and the sunshine.
God. Can you do a cartwheel?
Probably one that I would consider good.
Cut to the clip. No, just kidding. Just kidding. And then why don't you introduce your friend that is on this?
This is Ethan Johnson. Ethan is, I'm trying to pick 3 words that describe you. Not very tall.
That's 3 words. That's all 3.
I met Ethan back in the days when he was a youth student. I think it was like your senior year.
Yeah, retreat.
Senior year. And then Ethan came back from college for a year and we were kind of like dreaming and scheming about how to like collab a transition between high school and college ministry. And so it started off as like a business conversation, which developed into an actual friendship where he came and interned under me for a little bit for a summer. And then Ethan became the youth pastor at like Littleton.
And then I became your boss for all of 2 months.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
You were Jordan's boss.
Yeah, Jordan was my boss when I started as an intern, but then there was 2 months where I was the high school director and he was the high school youth pastor. I will say the only reason I was the high school director was because he was leaving youth.
But under your leadership, he did get promoted.
He grew
so
up.
you've kind of guided him.
Good point.
Some would say.
I owe my entire life to you, which is why my son is named after you.
Right, Ethan Halbleib.
Definitely not because I lost in golf.
Wait, it was a bet?
I guess the world will never know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, okay.
That's going to the grave.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'll introduce my friend that's on. You both are my friends, by the way. But Chelsea, gal pal. Hi. Things might get unhinged on this one because we're all friends. Okay.
Wait.
Chelsea's amazing. I met her working in the sports ministry. I interned under Chelsea. So she was my boss.
Oh, no.
You were, and it was intense, you guys. She seems nice, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I interned under Chelsea. At that time, it was like 6 weeks of interning, and you interviewed all the people that ran all the like ministries, and so you got to pick where you wanted to intern. And I'll say it this: I like interviewed a bunch of people. I was like, "Where do I want to intern? Where is God calling me?" And then I got a coffee with Chelsea, and she was like, so Christ-like, such a good listener. I really feel like she saw like deep into my spirit and my soul. And then I left being like, if I could end up being more like Chelsea at the end of this internship, this is real. Looking back, I'm like, okay, God was really with me because I don't think I'm that sentimental. But if I could end up being more like her, then this internship will have been like what God wanted it to be in my life. Because Chelsea's like the nicest person you'll ever meet. And that's not always me. So she is, right?
She
Disney
is the
princess.
nicest person ever.
But also like fiercely competitive. Like she'll crush you.
I love that. Thanks.
Yeah, we do push-ups together on Wednesdays.
We do.
And
Push-up
right after she
Wednesday.
gave birth, she was still better at push-ups than me. And it was stupid.
You are kind. No, not true.
It is. Chelsea, okay, let's dive in, you guys. What's your favorite thing about your friend at this table? You have to say it and do not joke, you two.
Serious. Okay.
It has to be serious.
My favorite thing about him?
Yeah, and then maybe like weirdest thing. These can be short answers.
Start with favorite, then go weirdest.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the icebreaker.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll go to the second icebreaker. There's 2 icebreakers.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Do you have your stuff
What do
already?
you love
Wait,
about
can
me?
you guys hold hands while you do it? Can you touch?
I can
No.
reach.
Okay.
Favorite thing about Jordan. So for me, meeting Jordan, like getting to know you was more through when I was your intern. And my favorite thing about Jordan was the way that kind of the same thing that you talked about. Like, yes, he saw deep into my soul, but he had a very great way of calling me out in the areas that I'm not great. But he was also calling me upwards. It wasn't just like a you suck at this. It was like a, hey, these are some areas that you can grow in because this is what I see for you. And this is how I see your future out playing. And so that was one of my favorite things about Jordan was the way that he was like a true friend and like, I'm going to remind you of who God's called you to be and call you up. Weirdest thing about Jordan is multiple times a month, once or twice a week. Jordan will text me and be like, you need to call me right now. And I'm like, who is injured? Like, what happened? And he will call me with a new business idea where he thinks we're going to become millionaires. For
genius.
instance, last week he called me and said, dude, I have this great idea. And I was like, here we go again. And he's like, what if we make a driving seat where the gas and the brakes are on the steering wheel? I was like, this is why you texted me at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday to call me. Please hang up right now.
Can you imagine?
That's a great.
Yeah.
I like the innovation.
I like that.
So
No, that's good.
That's
Joey.
mine.
Pending.
Yeah.
yeah.
Creative.
All right. Very intense.
Yes. I would say one of my favorite things about Ethan, and I saw this in him as a student, but I saw him really walk in it and own it when he came to work for the church. And Ethan has a deep relationship with Jesus, and he knows what God can do in other people's lives because of what God has done in his life, what he has seen and felt and experienced for himself. He has a desire for other people to know God like that and to trust in his plans. And so I've seen Ethan go out of his way to meet with people and to be call them on the phone and just like meet them where they're at. So I would say one of my favorite things about you that I admire so much is how intentional you are with people. It doesn't ever seem like a burden. It always excites you to go out and evangelize and share the gospel with so many people. I've seen it with your own friend group from high school, students coming to know Jesus. I've seen it through your students who attend Red Rocks Youth. You just have this desire for people to know God, and I love that because that's what we have been called to do from Jesus from the very beginning is go out and make disciples of all nations, and you are living that out. And I'm just like very proud of you and how well you do that.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
And I would say Ethan, he is one of the reasons why I think I will stay young forever because he puts his life in danger so much.
It's true.
And he doesn't think about it. He'll just last night we were leaving Red Rocks at Red Rocks
That
and
was
we
bad.
stumbled upon a couple raccoons.
What'd you do?
I fed it. It ate a Rice Krispie treat out of my
You're gonna
hand.
get rabies.
I know. I thought about that later.
And he's just like, here you go. Like, doesn't even think about it. We'll jump in a shark tank. We'll jump out of a plane. Just all these
raccoons
crazy things. And
giving
I'm
Elf.
like, Ethan's going to
is.
keep me young forever because he has a wild streak and he will put his life on the line for a good sermon story.
You really are this way.
Guys, if you fed a raccoon a Rice Krispie treat last night, you'd be like, that was the coolest thing I've ever done in
It's
my
true.
life. It was awesome.
Hands.
And you have a great video
I
for the
do
rest
have
of
a
your
great
life.
video.
Okay, sweet.
love
All right,
that.
Chels.
Yes. So
Tell me I'm awesome. No, I'm just kidding. Be sure. No, I'm just kidding.
I was thinking about this because I truly have so many things that I love about you. I really had to think long because I was like, how do I narrow this down? Because I cherish your friendship so much. I truly always, and I tell Case all the time, like, you are a friend that I've prayed for years. A friend who loves Jesus and who wants to sport with me and who, like, wants to hang out with my baby and my husband and I. Like, she's the best. But
Shout out Millie.
Shout out
Millie.
Millie Mae Marin. But I love the way that you champion people. I think that is one of my favorite things. Like, you lift them higher. You're always wanting to you always put them before yourself. And I think that is so Christ-like. You're never you don't want the glory, and you truly want God to have the glory, and you just point everyone to Jesus, and it just exudes from you. And it's because of how much time you spend with him and how you know his voice. So I love so many things about you. The way you make me laugh and everyone laugh. Like, we all need a friend like Casey Mexico. Like,
Chels really hypes me. She's my hype girl.
I'm sorry. I could go on for days.
love
I
it.
could write a novel. But those are some things I love about
What's the weird thing?
you. Okay, the weird
Throw it
thing.
under and then I'll throw
Spence
you
and I were
under.
talking about this because yes, can't wait to hear your
kidding.
thing about me. We were talking about the weird thing. Okay, it's the way you eat a salad.
It's disgusting.
We love it. It's the beige flag of Casey Mexico. Okay, we were on a trip to California, and I had the pleasure of sitting next to Case while eating this salad, and it was I had like a leaf here. Our friend Lindsay.
The bowl was so small.
It's true. Our friend Lindsay across the aisle had a leaf on her as well. We just remembered we
How
were
do you
called
eat
that.
salad?
Okay, so salads have so many components, you know, and there's like fruit and corn, and I want every bite to have a part in it. And then all the heavy things go to the bottom, so you have to keep re-stirring
It's
it.
true.
And the bowl's always so small.
Especially in airport salads.
Yes.
So, yes.
There's nothing worse than eating just the lettuce and you get to the bottom and you're like, these are all the toppings.
Yes, it's true.
Anyway.
I get it.
Okay, I'll go. Chelsea Marin. Oh, I have so many. Okay, my favorite thing. You are really consistently like deeply kind to every single person you meet. And it's funny because I think people are like, oh, that's just Chelsea. It is just you, but there's so much discipline to the way that you love people. And like you could talk to the person you ran into at the grocery store with the same amount of like kindness, curiosity, genuineness, and depth that you do to like your own husband. Like that level of care is the same across the board for you. And I know that's your worship, like the way that you treat and love all people. And I really do think you have an eye and the heart for the least of these, like the person who feels least known, least seen, like you gravitate towards them, like a moth to a flame kind of thing. So I love that about you. And it's so sincere and so genuine. And I really do think it's because you honor the image of God in everybody. You're like, there's going to be something to love because God made them. So that's my favorite. And then the weirdest, oh gosh, you really love Disney movies and you can quote Dumb and Dumber like the back of your hand. Like you can quote movies, and as your friend, I don't always know the quote. And I'm just like, yes, I remember that. And it's actually kind of crazy. Like a Dumb and Dumber, what else do you quote?
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Anything with Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, I do love. I do love a Tommy Boy. You
Yes.
know, Wayne's World. Yeah.
Yeah, you have like, it's like your dad's like a middle-aged man vibe where you're just like, you guys remember the quote? Ha ha ha. And I'm like, no one remembers the quote. I don't know how you remember the quote.
This is true. This is how me and my brother communicated in
yeah.
life. I think that's
There's something
why I got
deeper
it.
there.
There is. I need to go counseling probably.
It's fine. It's fine. Sorry. Shout out to Corey.
we love you.
Just kidding. All right, let's go to this next icebreaker and then we'll dive in. Okay. I want you two to share this because we were talking about it briefly. The worst or the funniest friendship moment. Share the most recent one from top to bottom.
The sad part is there have been so many funny. We were texting about this earlier. Just line after line of everything that we have been through or something dumb we've done. Like something as small as when Ethan was my intern. I'm a budget guy. I will ball out on a budget. You know me.
I do know you.
We will not spend a penny more than we need to.
But you also are bougie.
I will find a good deal. Give me 10 minutes on a guy. And I said, hey, Ethan, I need you to get me a quote on the Kona ice truck for 500 students.
Okay.
Get me a quote. This dude goes out and rents the Kona ice truck. That
Wrong.
costs.
It's false.
No, it's not false.
It's false.
I'll tell you why it's not false.
It is false.
Because I have a PEX.
Yeah, I
have a PEX
understand that.
transaction.
No, but this is what I'm saying. I email them. I get the quote. They're like, it's gonna be $1,000. I'm like, that's not gonna fly with Jordo. He's not spending $1,000. I never responded to their email, so they send me back. Yeah, it'll be $1,000, and I just never said yes or no. So in my mind, a no response, that's a no. And then the truck just shows up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I just spent $1,000. They just showed up.
Okay, that's
so that's
on
what I'm
them.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
did
they
I
should follow up.
accidentally
Yeah.
spend $1,000? Yes. Did I intentionally go out of my way?
To spend it.
No.
No.
That's true. It was funny, but we've had a lot of little moments like that. I'll let you go before we share like the tough moments.
Well, yeah, it was like because we were talking about, okay, what's my worst friendship moment? But I'm like, I think it's more interesting for me to share his worst friendship moment in my
I'd
mind.
love to know.
Of course, you would take that route.
And this was 5 weeks ago now. But Jordan was speaking at a university, name unknown, doesn't need to be. And he was speaking on a Friday, but they were doing a worship night on a Thursday. And Jordan, they're like, can you speak? And Jordan's like, no, but my friend Ethan would love to. Except his friend Ethan never said he would love to. And I had to wake up for a flight at 4 a.m. after our biggest event of the year when I went to bed at 1 a.m. So 3 hours of sleep, hop on a plane, drive 2 hours after the flight to come meet you, thinking I'm just supporting my friend. And I have 2.5 hours to prep. I mean, who knows what on worship. So that was terrible. The worst part about it was Jordan was also secretly trying to set me up with this girl while I was there. I meet this girl, fly home. I never think about her for like 3 weeks. I mean, sweet girl. Sorry, no offense. It just the thought never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks go by. Jordan's like, dude, have you talked to this girl at all? I was like, no. Like, was I supposed to? He's like, yeah, bro, like I was talking to her. She thinks you're cute. She thinks you're this. Like, just shoot her a DM right now. I'm like, all right. So I DM her. I'm like, this is random. Hi, haven't talked to you in a month. How you been? And she literally responds like, doing good. Hope you're well. I'm like, well,
I think the hard part about this conversation is his text was very nice.
Yeah, it was
very
nice.
intentional. It was like 3 or 4 sentences,
Yeah,
and then
put some
that
thought into it.
response.
Did
and I
you
was
know
like,
she
dang
was
it.
interested, or were
Yes, that is not a lie. That is the
Jordan?
truth.
Yeah, I
have
literally got that
witnesses.
response. I'm like, I know Jordan was lying to me. She never was interested. She never thought about me. He just wanted me to reach out to this girl.
No, that
get
is
shot.
false. He's putting words in my mouth. No. I'm bummed it didn't work out the way I was hoping. Because I'm like, they're going to get married. They're going to do ministry together. They're going to have kids. Their firstborn's going to name Jordy. Like,
Jordy.
I'm like planning out his future. It's great.
Jordy Johnson.
Jordy
Oh,
Johnson.
that's actually kinda good.
That's a good name.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Whoa.
I know.
Wow.
It's all up here. I
If
just
you
like
ever
that.
successfully set me up, I'll consider Jordy Johnson. But until that, no.
Until
Yeah,
then,
that's
no.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. All right, I'll go for us. Well, are you nice? Are you mean enough to say my worst friend moment? Because I know mine for you.
Flex that mean
gosh.
bone in your body.
Come
that
on,
little
Chels.
one.
I don't really.
I'm thinking of California.
Well, I was thinking of that as one of our funniest too.
Oh, yeah.
But wait, okay, I'm trying to think of the mean.
You go.
Oh, I do know.
Just
I
go
do
straight
know,
off.
though.
Follow your heart.
So the meanest friendship moment,
No,
or
just
funny?
worst.
Okay, a worst.
It's okay.
But it's funny.
You're
to
not
me.
hurting my feelings.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
This was just okay.
We can rebrand it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Reframe.
Chelsea's very
Reframe
nice, everybody.
Your shame.
Reframe the
Funniest.
shame. Yes, funniest. Oh gosh, I'd say our entire trip to California for your sister's wedding. I was Casey's +1.
Praise God.
It was the funnest. We went on, I don't know, maybe a total of like 34 miles total of hikes. And I didn't know I was going to boot camp on this vacation. No, it was wonderful. But one of the hikes was like 11 miles. And that's more than I've ever walked in my life. And, all in one day. And then we like go to the beach. I also, just a side note, I brought one hoodie to California thinking I just brought my Hawaii wardrobe. Like, I'm like, California.
She doesn't know the nights are cold in
I
California.
did not know, but I wore
early
this the
morning
entire
fog.
time. I wore my sweatpants under my dress for the wedding.
Yep.
It was that cold. I was like, I don't care. I'm freezing. And I wore this hoodie every single day.
It's disgusting.
Yes, in Grandma Fran's twin bed. I would. By the end, it was full of sand because I needed to use that hoodie as a towel as well at
Yeah,
the beach.
it
I was unprepared, but it was the funniest, and I had so many funny moments during that. I don't even know. Maybe you can chime in.
I just dragged Chelsea through the mud. Like, she needed a vacation. And it was like probably her first vacation in a very long time. I know that all I know is she came back and her family was like, her Chelsea just like is exhausted after her trip home. And I was like, she didn't really tell me that. We would get up at like 6
loved
a.m.
it.
like most days to work out, play beach volleyball,
Yes.
go hiking. But on our flight, the day our flight left, I was like, we have to get up at 6 and meet some girls for some beach games. And she was like, and Chelsea's so nice. So she was sending some cues that she did not want to do that, but I ignored the cues.
What were the cues?
Chelsea's cues if she doesn't want to do something are like very slight. Like, oh, what time again? And I'm like, 6. And then that is Chelsea wanting to say absolutely not. And I decided to not read into the cues.
We made a great memory. I have no regrets. It was the best trip ever,
Yeah.
truly.
I'm one of those friends where you're going to suffer with me, and that's how we're going to bond.
Oh yeah.
See, I feel like
Yeah.
we're just like when we travel together, you're like, you want to go to the gym at 6:30? I'm like, no, but you have so much fun. That's
Yeah.
gonna be
That's
good
great.
boundaries.
We
That's
balance
good.
each other out so much. Ethan's my emotional support animal when I go on
Aw,
trips.
I
that's
love that.
cute. You do need somebody.
You
Oh,
do,
yeah.
yeah, you do.
You do.
You do.
Okay, let's
great
dive in. I feel like everyone, friendship, fun, not perfect. We're here to sharpen each other. I hope all your friends don't look like you, because that would be kind of a boring life. So let's talk about what does it look like to be a godly friend. Let's just dive in. We can talk about a few things right off the bat. Before I get into specifics, what do you guys feel like it looks like to be a godly friend? Or maybe what have you learned about being a godly friend?
It's an excellent question. You want to go first?
Sure. I think first off is like, and Jordan even brought it up. Do you know Jesus? You guys did too. That was like the first thing that you were like, oh yeah, this is what I love about this person. They love the Lord.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a godly friend, you're gonna have to face that first battle of fighting to be a godly person.
That's good.
And so just fighting for that proximity to Jesus, proximity to the church, proximity to like small groups, to places where we're in community with people. I think that's where it ultimately has to start.
Yeah.
Is do I have a relationship with Jesus, and am I fighting for that? So that would be my first one. I don't know if you guys have other stuff.
So good.
And I think it's okay to identify like what do I want from a friend and what do I need to be, what do I need from a friend and what can I give in the friendship?
Yeah.
Because I feel like where relationships and friendships start to get like testy or challenging is when there's unvoiced expectations of what I need from
Yes.
you
Yeah.
and what you need from me. And so I went through this like harsh reality in college, be like, so-and-so doesn't do anything for me and they don't even care about me. And I just kind of like started to ghost them a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when they approached me, I said, well, you didn't text me this and we didn't get to hang out this day. And he's like, I didn't know like that. I didn't know that's what you needed. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know like that's where, that's how you felt loved, you know?
Yeah.
And so ultimately I wanted to create a list for me of like, what can I give to a person and what do I need from other people?
Yeah, that's so good.
That's awesome.
And I think that makes sense in like maybe romantic relationships, but I think sometimes people view their friendships as like not something you have to invest in. You know, because growing up, friendship just happens. Like you're in middle school, you're like, we sit next to each other and I'll let you copy off my math. Like we're friends, right? Or, and I think when you become an adult, you have to start being more intentional about your friendships. And it's definitely, I don't know, it's kind of jarring for me moving out of sports and like structures and like, oh, now I have to be intentional about a friendship or like call a friend out. I was like, oh, I don't like that. Like, so I don't know. What do you think, Chelsea?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I echo what Ethan said too of like, are you a friend of Jesus? Is Jesus your friend?
Yeah.
Like, do you have that relationship with him? That's so important. But yeah, remind me of the question exactly.
Yeah, like what does being a godly friend look like?
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I feel like first and foremost, that comes out of your heart, right? Like, so you got to flow that Jesus
Yeah.
spirit out of
Yeah.
the goodness of your heart. So, but also, being a godly friend too is being intentional.
Yeah.
Text that person first when you're thinking, when God puts somebody on your heart, text them right away. Even if it's like, hey, I'm praying for you. How are you? Like,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to be the first one to reach out and initiate. I think that goes a long way. But also, like Jordan was saying, like you can't, I also agree with that. Like you can't read someone's mind of like, oh, that's what you needed from me. And just what do I need in a friend? Like, yeah, it's
Like what important qualities
yes, yeah,
there are.
Yeah.
yeah, and they do totally evolve. I feel like as in different stages of life. Like,
Yeah.
when you're, I learned a lot in college too of like, just like I think this might be another question in the podcast, but that we'll get to later. But like what I was not, I would kind of I was very non-committal when it comes to friends, like in college, because there are so many options of people to hang out with. And I'm like, if someone asked me to hang out, I'd be like, maybe, like if it was Friday.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, but what if another offer comes up that I like better, which sounds so bad.
No.
But
Yeah.
I've grown in that a ton because I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want that in return. I've learned like, follow through is absolutely one of my
Yes.
core values.
Yeah.
And of course things come up, but that is like important. I feel like Jesus followed through with his commitments. He was available. You have to be available to be a friend.
Yeah.
Like you have to be inconvenienced and be okay with that. And I think I used to not be okay. I'd be like, I'll just find another one.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Okay, let's talk. I feel like you brought up two things I want to bring up that I see young adults do. One is waiting around for the best option, which I think is a FOMO thing. I still struggle with that on Halloween. I was like, I have 4 options. I'm going to just decide last minute. And it's like, Casey, no. There's that. And then there's this idea of availability. I don't think a lot of people have margin
Yes.
in their lives to like be, how available are we? Like if I had Jordan got a flat tire on the way here. Like, if Jordan were to call somebody like Ethan, like, hey, could you come and help me out? Is Ethan so stacked? There's no flexibility that he couldn't come over. Or if you needed a babysitter last minute, and it's like, do I have a friend I could call? Are we all so busy?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys could speak to that of like young adults that are like waiting for the best option. What does it look like to like let their yes be yes, their no be no? Is there like a cost to that?
Yeah.
And also like, what does it look like to be a young adult that has margin so that they can be a good friend when called upon? Yeah.
I think for me, I think I have 2 thoughts. I see that because I'm 22. So I see that a ton of that, like, yeah, you guys pick 10 things and then you get to the last minute and you just pick the best one. I've done it, been in it. I feel like I'm getting better at not doing that. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is if I want to let my yes be yes, then I have to learn how to say no. Because if your yes is your yes, then your no is your no. But I think young adults just don't know how to say no. We want to say yes to everything. And I think you actually hurt a lot more people in the process. And it is very okay to say no. Like, it's okay to say no because I'm tired. It's okay to say no because I'm busy. It's okay to say no because I'm just not feeling it. And that doesn't mean I don't like you. And there are kind ways to say no, but I think that's where it has to start. You got to let your no be no and learn how to say no so that you can let your yes be your yes. And then,
I
what?
wanted to add something on that. When we are faced with a decision, what we were told is like there's always going to be a winner in a situation and there'll always be a loser in the situation. So as much power as we have to say yes to something, we also have the power to say no. And it's okay to be selfish. If you just need a night to yourself and not go out, like saying no is okay. But if we're constantly saying yes and yes and yes, someone is always going to get let down. And it's going to be twice as hard when you cancel on them last minute.
Yes.
And you know how when you hit your 30s, when plans fall through, you're jumping up and down. But when you're 21 to 25, in that age range, like you're going to have the FOMO if you miss out on the best thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true.
But if everyone is going to say no to something, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
I feel like something that has been helpful for me as I've gotten older is like when you said FOMO, like I think about like an event or something and I'm like, okay, will I have FOMO, the fear of missing out, or will I have JOMO, the joy of missing out? Like, will I look back and be like, man, I really wish I was there? Or will I look back and be like, man, I'm really glad I'm in my bed right now, like cozy at home, or like prioritizing my rest? Because to be a good friend, you gotta, get filled up as well, right? To be able to pour out. So
Yeah.
but I agree with both of you guys on that.
Yeah. What, were you going to continue saying something, Ethan?
I was going to hit on, because I agree with everything you guys just said, but then I was going to touch on that second part. You talked about, like, am I willing to go help Jordan because he got a flat tire? Like, do I have the capacity to do that? And I think for young adults, the thing that I've told myself, the thing that I've said to others, the things that people have said to me is like, well, you're a young adult. This is the time to grind. This is the time to work hard. This is the time to stack your schedule and do 80-hour weeks back to back to back to back because you're a young adult. And I think we kind of build this mentality of like, this is the time to grind. And so we tend to, at least what I feel, is we tend to bail on our friends for work consistently But if I do want to be an intentional friend and I do want to be a good friend, I do think there have to be moments where I do make that decision to bail on work for a friend. And I'm available to you, and I will move things around in my schedule. And yeah, I could stay and work till 7:30 p.m. tonight because I'm just a young adult and I'm in a season where I have the capacity to do that.
Yeah.
But I could also actively choose to let 5 p.m. be when I go home.
Yeah.
And then I actually have like space. And so I think there's that of like, yeah, this is the time to grind, but that does not mean this is the time to kill your social life for that.
Yeah.
And so you have to start asking yourself, do I bail on my friends more for work, or do I bail on work sometimes for my friends, and finding that middle ground and what is a healthy balance of those two?
Yeah.
So
And just for the record, Ethan's the type of friend that if I do get a flat tire, he'll have no idea how to change it or how to help me, but he'll come and hang out with me until AAA gets
that's
there,
so good.
and he'll bring McDonald's fries.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so good.
I love that.
Yeah, I think Matthew 5:37, that's the verse. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. In Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And I got confronted about this when I was in my early 20s by one of my best friends. Oh, there's nothing worse than getting confronted by one of your, like, it's the Proverbs where it's like, many, like, better is, what is that verse? Better is like, some, like a wound from a friend than like many kisses from a fool.
Yes.
And his confronting me, I'm so grateful because it changed. It was like a fork in the road moment for me of like, what kind of person am I? And I have this habit of giving my best to strangers and my worst to people that are closest to me. And it was like, oh, why do strangers get my best and then the people closest to me get my worst? And I call it godly. It was just this like, oh crap. Like, and I think sometimes it's like, well, they're closest to me, so they can see the worst in me. It's like they can see the worst, but do they get the worst? And they were constantly getting the worst. They were getting the ones that were the ones I knew would always love me. I was canceling on because they would always be there. And so I'm taking advantage, taking for granted the godliness and the people that are closest to me. And so I started doing that, and I would cancel all the time. My yes wasn't my yes. My no wasn't my no. But I didn't understand that I could just say no. And so I was so taken aback when I got confronted because I was like, I'm having boundaries. Like, I need a rest. I'm learning how to set boundaries. He's like, well, you're lying. And I was like, oh. And so what I had to learn was boundaries aren't keep saying yes and then cancel all the time. And then say that it's on their fault because their expectations are too high. It's, Casey, you need to like say then, I don't know yet. Let me look at my calendar. Or I actually can't do that, but I do want to hang out with you. I'll have time in a couple weeks. And so just learning how to use language to create conversation around it instead of like, no. And then I'm like, they hate me. I've let them down. Or yes, cancel. I've let them down, or I've let myself down. And so if you're a young adult out there, it's okay to like take a step back. You're like, hey, I need a second. And if you do end up not having your yes be yes or your no be no, say sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I want to be this kind of person. I messed up. I overcommitted. I did this. I love you. Like, let's reschedule. And so being as communicative as possible. And then saying no doesn't mean you don't want to hang out with them or spend time with them, but creating communication around that. But I've seen young adults not think they can communicate like how, like, oh man, I'm working on this. That's my bad. Right? Like, it's like I need to have arrived. And if I can't, I'm not. So it's okay to communicate like, I'm working on this. I'm bad at this. And then the second thing I have to say about margin, I want to talk about this idea, and it's fun. You both have kids and are married. We don't. What does it look like? Because I hear some people being like, oh, well, they're not in the same season as me, so we aren't friends anymore. So I'll see people like get married, and then the single person isn't they're not friends anymore. Like, we're not in the same season. Or they have kids, and it's like, oh, we're not in the same season, so it didn't work out. We're not friends. And it's like, that's not biblical at all. Like the saints were always, like when Paul talks about the church, the list at the end of Romans is full of different types of people, single, married, young, old. It's amazing. It's the beauty of the body. And so I see Christians like having, and it's not wrong to have groups where you have people in the same season where you can grow, but what does it look like to be a village to one another, even though we're not in the same season? I think there's a line, everybody wants a village until they have to be a village, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes a village, like it takes a village to raise it and whatever. So what does that look like for you guys to navigate being in different seasons, showing up for each other in those seasons? Has it looked like inconveniencing yourself? Has it looked like, I'm tired, but you know what? I am going to show up for Ethan. I'm going to go to his sermon or whatever. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Because I think Christians sometimes will get into this like, oh, well, if it's inconvenient,
Right.
like if it doesn't serve me,
Yes.
if it doesn't, oh, well, they have kids now. I don't want their,
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, it just so happens that Spencer, my husband, and I are really good friends with you, right, Case? So, like, whenever I love that we are the first that you call, like, because I feel like we're more so family than friends. But when you like need something from us, it's really truly a joy and an honor to go do it. And I'm not just saying that. Like one time Casey was buying a Jeep and this was like her old car was like, man, pretty beat up, and R.I.P. And she really needed a new car, and so this was a big purchase, and she was all the way in Castle Rock, I think.
I didn't think I'd be buying that day.
Oh well, that's
Sorry,
okay.
the story makes me look really irresponsible. Keep going.
It's I say it is all good.
No, keep going, Charlie.
No, like I just think. Yeah, and I love that you were like, well, it's happening. And sometimes those big decisions happen quickly, like even with buying a house or something that just randomly can happen all of a sudden. So Casey is buying this Jeep and she's like, can you come get me? So then I can drive my old car, Chelsea can drive my new car, and Spencer can drive your car home. And we were like, all right, let's ride. And it was like such a fun day. We got to just go and help you out. And because of course we know you do the same thing for us. You've done that many times for us. But I just think just because we're married doesn't mean we can't all hang out.
Yeah, 100%.
Reminds me of a Wayne's World quote. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do
Just say it.
Go there.
Just because we broke up doesn't mean we can't still hang out. Well, it does actually. That's what breaking up is. Okay, sorry.
That's so good.
But yeah, anyways, like it's just, and also me and Casey can hang out without Spence. Like we love to all three hang out, pickleball. If you like to play pickleball, come hang out with us. But yeah, I think it's important to have friendships outside of just your marriage too. Once you do get married, if you do get married, because your spouse can't fill all of those areas in your life. Like I need my gal pals. I need, I need my small group. Just like he needs his guy friends and small group type stuff too. So that's just an example.
And I'll say one thing too from my end. Like when you guys had Millie, I don't want you to feel like, oh, we have Millie, we can't go to certain things because we have a kid, or oh, we have to always find, like we play pickleball on Wednesdays. We call it Millie's small group, her daughter. And so we like rotate who you guys bring Millie, we rotate who watches Millie, so that you who are with her all the time, which you love that. We all know you love that. Can get some adult time and just slam a pickleball around. But then also like I get to hang out with your daughter, like someone who you like made and love. And so, but I think a younger version of me, when my friends were getting married, I went to a Christian college. They were getting married at like 23. And I don't know if I was mature enough to make that happen or intentional enough. And then same with them having kids young. I just was like, are you leaving your kid? We're having coffee. Your kid's crying all the time. Like, I just was like, oh, I'm frustrated. Let's just create distance. And it was like, oh, I wish that I didn't do that. And so as I've gotten older, it's been fun to play around with those dynamics. So I don't know about you guys. What about you, Jordan? In this category?
I definitely was tardy to the party, as some would say, when it comes to like having kids. And so I've been on the other side of things where I've been like, you're just never around anymore. You never hang out with us anymore. Like, can your kid can your kid nap earlier? Can he stay up later? Like, can you have him stop screaming? Like, and I'm like, just parent, please. And now that like I'm in that and I have a 2-year-old, like I get it. Yeah. Now I get why like a sleep schedule is important. Now I understand why kids will scream in a restaurant and you're just
there's nothing you can do.
It's just like muted at that point, or you're numb to it. So there is a part of our lives as parents that do change, but I believe that just because this changed, this shouldn't be neglected.
Yeah,
and I
that's
believe
good.
that incorporating the lives together is going to be the best thing, not only for my family, but for my son. I can't tell how many times we just have had friends over and Bray is involved now. Like he is running around hitting a golf ball, or we adjust instead of doing like a late night dinner, like 7:30 p.m. Like, how about we do lunch at the park? Like it's just kind of adjusting to make sure that it's like you get the best of both worlds. So there is a sacrifice on both, but I don't think it's an either or. I think it's an and a compromise.
That's so good.
That's really good.
Yeah. And then I would say from the single perspective, or that we are in, the unmarried, no kids, I think it's so good what you said. Different seasons does not mean we're not friends. I would say different seasons come with different obstacles, and intentional friends are going to navigate those obstacles. So I think two of the big obstacles for me on the unmarried, no kids side were there was a good season where I almost felt guilty of like reaching out to Jordan, because I was like, well, I don't want to like bother, and I know they're on the sleep schedule, and I know like Bray's going to bed at like a really early hour, and they're busy, and they got the thing, and they got jobs, and so I had to learn, no, I'm still his friend, and I can reach out. And then on the back end, I also had to learn he doesn't hate me. He loves his wife and his kid, and he can't hang out tonight, and not build this like, well, Jordan never makes time for me. It's like, no, dude, he loves his wife and he loves his kid. And that's one of the qualities I love about him. And so I'm not going to receive that as like rejection. And so, I think those were the big two things I needed to learn of like, it is okay to reach out. And how do I handle a no, not in the sense of rejection, but I'm like, no, we're still friends. This time, this day just doesn't work. And that's very okay. So I don't know. Those were my two big personal obstacles that other people might be like navigating.
And isn't it beautiful having people around us to help when they say like it takes a village? It almost like brings me to tears sometime of thinking how blessed Bray is to have people like outside of me and Brandy. Like Ethan is on our emergency contact list at daycare. If Brandy and I get stuck in a car or in like a traffic jam or something like that, and we can't get there in time or whatever, I want Bray to be around Ethan so he knows his face, knows his voice, builds that trust. So I almost want other people to like come around and not pull back. So we can have that relationship.
It's so true. I feel the same way. Like we call Casey Millie's mentor because she's gonna be her coach one day.
It'll kick in later.
It will. She got her first sports bag for her like first birthday. It has like a little squishy toy, like soccer ball, football, baseball.
Prepping early.
Yes, she's holding it. It was so cute. But she like Cece was one of her favorite or first words, which is what she calls Casey. So she's just always talking about Cece, and I think that is so special because I feel like what is the scripture? A friend is closer than a brother. Or I'm butchering that, but it's like a maybe you could look up for me, Case. But like your friends really are your chosen family. Like a friend
sticks closer than a brother.
Thank you.
Proverbs 18.
That's what it is.
Yeah, a man of many companions. Oh, wait, gosh, now it just popped up. Oh, a man of many companions may come to ruin, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
Yes.
It's good.
Yes, and I truly feel that about Case. Like, I know that she would be there in an instant if we're like, hey, we need help watching Millie, and she'd be there for us. And like, it goes to show that one of her first words was Cece. And literally when we're trying to go to bed, our sweet girl loves to be a little chatterbox before bed. And every night she goes, Cece, pick ball. Like we talk, we say all these words of like, and all her friends before she goes to bed, but it's not a coincidence. It's because Case has like invested in us so much. And like, even while I was in labor, Casey FaceTimed me from Hawaii. It was so special.
Wow.
It was to be mean though. It's like, I'm on the beach and you're experiencing the most pain you'll ever experience in your life.
We have a screenshot.
It was to be mean. I'm so sorry. It's my favorite picture I've ever taken. It's a screenshot of Chelsea like fighting for her life, going through labor. And
I was so happy for you.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Good times. Yeah. Okay, we got like 10 more minutes. I just want to talk through two things as we close. One is this. When have you had been a red flag? Like what has been a thing that you used to be a bad friend in that God has like grown you into being a better friend? So like what's maybe And it doesn't have to be, maybe more of like a character, like how you used to maybe be a friend that you're like, oh, I don't think that was godly character. I don't think that was good.
Yeah.
What is one of those things? And then when did you realize God was kind of calling you to not be that way and to like be a better friend?
I'll go first because this is a big part of my testimony and how I came to know Jesus.
Yeah.
And really choosing him. So when I was like stepping into my relationship with him, I felt like I had to be everything to everyone. So I had like my church friends and I was like church Jordan. I had my college friends and I had to be college Jordan. So I would drop the act here, drop the act here. And I was living this double life. And it was just so hard to keep up with everyone, making sure that they don't get mad at me, making sure that they don't judge me. And I had all these thoughts. So I'm just like, I'm just going to separate the two.
Yeah.
And I realized the more I was trying to keep this dual personality alive, the harder it was for me to be a good friend to anybody.
Yeah.
And so I had a moment with the Lord. I'm just like, God, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I know I'll lose some friends here. Don't have many friends here. So God, like, just give me like peace about my next step.
Yeah.
And the words in my head were just like, be all in for me, be all in for me, be all in for me. And so I told, and I woke up that next morning just feeling like, oh my gosh, I was just like something like a weight off of my shoulders. Like it was a newfound freedom. And it was never a choice. And that was the thing. I never had to choose between the two. But the more I invested in my personal relationship with Jesus, the more I wanted to be over here. And I'm not going to say like everyone over here is still in my life because that's not the truth. But what I do say is a lot of like old habits and expectations that I felt like I had to live up to became more of an opportunity for me to step into something that God had planned for me from the beginning, like more of my purpose and my calling.
Yeah.
Freedom.
So I feel like in relationships, there is a season for people to be in, and sometimes like God will call people out.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's cool too. I think you touch on even in that, in a lot of what young adults are struggling with right now. They maybe have friends who don't know God, and then they're starting to make friends who do know God. But then they're like, well, God loves everybody, and I want to be a light to my friends that don't know God. And instead of being a light, they're struggling with like, well, they don't necessarily want the light. They want a previous version of me who didn't know Jesus, but I still want to be friends with them. And so I like that God kind of guided you into this, like, no, go all in for me. And then these people, God might use you to be a light in some, and then some might reject you.
And that's right?
Exactly, like some might reject you. Some might not like that. Some might whatever. You might not even be judging. Right. I think sometimes it's like, well, they don't want to hang out with me anymore. You might be the least judgmental Christian, but they just are confronted by the truth of the gospel, and they might not want anything to do with it. And so I like that instead of like, oh, well, how do I be here? How do I be here? You went all in for Jesus, and maybe you showed up here and then they were like, no. And, it was cool. That kind of like helped you make a choice, or maybe other people chose for you too, so that you weren't being double-minded or being two different people. I think that's really good insight. How did you, sorry, this is a tangent. Did you have to have any hard conversations as you were growing in your faith? And did any of those people, like as you were not hanging out with that other group anymore, maybe you were and they didn't really like who you were becoming, what did that look like?
It was kind of hard to navigate at first because I still wanted to like include my friends over here. I'm like, hey, I'm going to Young Adults tonight. Would love for you guys to come with me.
Yeah.
Or we used to do pickup basketball on Tuesday nights, but I joined a life group on Tuesday nights. Like, hey guys, I won't be able to come anymore. I love our time together, but like, let's hang out like this weekend.
Yeah.
And so without like completely blowing them off, and some people are like, what is Young Adults? What is all of this?
Yeah.
So I did have friends that came in
That's
and
cool.
joined and like came to know the Lord. And I actually got to baptize one of them like
That is
2
awesome.
years ago,
Wow.
which was really, really special. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good picture of like, I continued to pursue Jesus, and I still was like kind and loving, and not everyone is, some people probably had to make a choice of like, nah, I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah, it was never like a sit down being like, by the way, I'm following Jesus.
No.
Yes.
I don't think I don't think that's
know what I mean?
organic or natural, but I do
Yeah.
think you got to be integrated in who God was calling you to be without being like, bye, you know,
Yeah.
which we're
Yeah.
not called to do either. So I think that picture is really helpful for people.
I kind of self-selected out or like I had a mentor tell me once, you can outgrow friendships. And I think that was really freeing for me because I thought I have to be friends with everyone for all my life. And I have lived in Colorado my entire life. So
you are still friends with people from kindergarten. Sorry,
I do have a Fab Five. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I think it's just helpful because you really truly can't pour into everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like that Jesus had the 12, then he had the 3, right? Like that it's just important to know that you, like you said, Jordan, you can't be all to everyone. And I am a recovering people pleaser for sure. So I just relate. And
would you say that's yours, Chelsea? Like your...
Yes, my red flag. I was thinking through this because I think I did touch on it earlier of like, I would keep my options open, especially in college of like, oh, this is fun, but oh wait, we're going to Jump Street? Okay, I need to be on
Get that
some
girl on a
trampolines.
trampoline.
You know, yeah.
Girl at trampoline.
Post baby, it's a little different, but okay, I still love a good trampoline.
Sorry.
Yeah, but so that was definitely something. I had a friend or like some friends, but also they were my roommates at the time. So I was like, this is a little togetherness. Like I would love a little, I need to expand my options.
Yeah.
Sounds bad. But I think that was definitely a red flag where I would just keep people kind of in the waiting, and that's not honoring because clarity is kindness. I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but it really is. I've appreciated as I've gotten older, more like directness. I think I'm not going to hurt your feelings by being direct. You're not going to hurt mine. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I learned that a lot sooner. But a red flag for me now, I think, is what I've been reading a ton, like even leading up to this podcast, was reading a lot about friendship, listening to Tim Keller's friendship podcast, really good. But is like a good friend rebukes you in kindness, of course, right? But I am not good at calling someone out or like calling out their blind spots, and because I think I'm hurting their feelings by doing this. But really, I'm like, if Casey were to tell me, hey, Chelsea, you're doing this a lot and it's not so good, I'd be like, wow, I respect you and I know you love me. So I'm going to take that and be like, thank you for telling me, and really try to grow from that. But I'm bad at doing that for others. So I'm trying to grow in that, but I don't have to do that a lot.
And you can do it Chelsea way. Like, I don't think you need to be like, don't rebuke me now. I'm like, oh God, do I have like 10 blind spots that Chelsea's about to like tell me? No. But you still can be Chelsea in how you do that, right?
Thanks,
You don't have to be like, listen up.
Right.
She pulls out her phone. Me and Spencer are both like, we're about to get rebuked because of this podcast that Chelsea listened to. Just kidding. That's so good, Chelsea. What about you, E?
Mine is probably on the receiving end of what you were just talking about. I think one of my biggest red flags that I think I have been working through, but was the lack of humility to receive correction. I feel like Jordan and we were talking about this before the podcast, but what was it, 2 years ago maybe, when, it was a bad time. We were both tired, exhausted from retreat, long nights, and you made a comment to me about some work choices that I made that you did not think were wise. And I just had no room in my heart to even sort of receive it. And I popped back at you and was like, well, you don't know what I'm... And like, it was just stupid. And looking back on that, especially in the church world all the time, when we talk about friendships, we always talk about accountability, keep people accountable, hold people accountable. And yes, like I do need and want friends to hold me accountable. And Jordan is one of those people. But I have had to work on being humble enough to receive what I'm actually asking for.
Yeah.
It's like I'm asking for you to keep me accountable, and then I'm mad at you when you hold me to a higher standard. And so I've just had to work on like having the humility to receive it, and trusting you and trusting why you're saying what you're saying to me. You're saying it because you do care about my future and you do care about me, and I want that.
Yeah.
So I've just had to work on being more humble.
Yeah. And I think too, like, some people, and in the church world where I think we all get feedback from all over the place, right? So it's like accountability is someone holding you into an account for your ability. And so knowing that like Jordan knows your ability, he knows your gifts, your talents, your callings. And then when he does say something, you're like, oh, it's because he knows my ability.
Yeah.
Like he would never call me out on something I could not do, or in a way I could not respond. And then having like a logical moment of like, and then there are people that call me out all the time and they don't know crap and they don't know me and they misunderstand. And so organizing those is hard. It's like a hard, I'm like you, I'm like a snapback.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I already have a list of 10 things that I could say. Like, I'm just like ready. And I've been told even by leaders, they're like, you're really hard to get, you're like scary to get feedback to. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't want to have like 10 blind spots because I'm scary, you know? So mine's probably like yours, E. Like when my friend confronted me, I literally was like, oh, we're not friends. I literally was like, we could be done. And I was like, Casey, you're going to be a lonely middle-aged woman with no friends. Like,
Weird. Yeah.
So, but I also do think like it's so nice to have friends who have the courage to like push past, like for you to call someone out and hold. I recently had a confrontation with a friend, horrible, because I was like, they could respond horribly and not want to be my friend anymore, but I really feel like if I don't say something, I'm gonna harbor resentment and become bitter. And so it took a lot of courage to confront my friend and also give them benefit of the doubt that they're gonna be able to handle it and still remain close with me after. That's scary work. Right
I know you're running the podcast, but could I ask you a question? Because I think we say all the time, it's like clarity is kindness, and it is, but sometimes the way you said that wasn't kind, even if it was clear.
Yes.
And I think we do have an ability in how we call people up, in how we have confrontation. There's a very big difference between me going to Jordan being like, I hate the way you do this, and me going to Jordan being like, hey man, I care about our friendship. I care about you. Yeah. You said this and this kind of offended me. This is how I felt. Is this what you meant? Like, can you just talk about how you navigated that confrontation for people who are like, well, clarity is kindness. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't kind. You didn't say that kindly.
Yeah. No, that's so good. When I took a rhetorical communication class, they always would say, like, at the end of the day, the medium is the message. So the way that you communicate it oftentimes becomes the message people walk away with much more than the content you actually said. And so for me, and then so I have a tendency of sometimes making the medium so soft that they don't get the message. Like, disclaimer, this, that. And then it's almost like, in Parks and Rec, there's a character who gets broken up with, but she doesn't even know she got broken up with because the guy's so positive. And so she's like, wait, what? You dumped me? And so I can swing between like that. And then in sports, like for soccer as athletes, we were so direct with each other. It was like my teammate Jenny, really amazing athlete. She's a lefty. And if she's like, hey, you keep passing my right foot, I'm a lefty. Like, that's not good enough. And it was like, yep, you're right. Let's move on. And I loved that in the sports world. So interpersonally, I swing. So I've been working on finding the middle ground. And I think you hit it in your example is like the why of like, okay, me and this person have the same goal, to be friends.
Yes.
So, and for our friendship to be good. So I'm not coming against this person. We are on the same team. We have the same goal. I'm just bringing something up that's going to help us both get to that goal. Yeah. And so I always begin with like, I'm just bringing this up because I love you and I really value you. And this has actually been taking me a lot of courage. And I've been thinking about how to do this in a way that honors you. And, you know, I really try to get the why. And then I'll be like, when you do this, and I've seen it, I usually only confront if I see patterns. If it's a one-off, Chelsea's so nice. Somebody else. Jordan's having a bad day. Jordan and I, we've gotten into arguments at youth and stuff, and Jordan would be like, was I being, a-hole Jordan? And I'm like, no, you weren't. We're both really intense. Like, we had a one-off. But like, if I was rude to Jordan 5 meetings in a row, I would hope if Jordan saw the pattern, he would confront me. So I'm always doing pattern-based. Yes. And then if it's going to make me bitter and treat them different, then I'm like, ooh, I need to say something. So then start out with the goal, and then I'll say the thing, and I'll be like, but can you provide clarity? Because I know your goal was probably not to do that. No one's like endeavoring to ruin their friendships, right? So I'm like, hey, my guess is you're going through this, that I can totally see how maybe that, like, what was your goal in saying that or doing that? And usually they're like, oh, whoa, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Like typically it's an easy apology, and it's like a communication clarity thing.
To go back to like the original question, like, how do you be a godly friend, or why is it important to have godly relationships? Yeah. Because before I will go into conversations where I'm heated and I have my face is red and I have steam coming out of my ears, I'm like writing up this text message. I'm like, I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to take screenshots. I'm going to prove to you, not only am I right, but you are wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. And before I click send, hey, I need your help. This is what's going on. how do I go through it?
Yeah.
And I know a man who loves God will give me
Yes.
godly advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
will
good, Jordan.
show me and help and teach me in that moment to look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, how do you handle it? And so my
Yes.
text goes from this long thing to something completely different
Yeah.
that makes them feel safe, but we're going to have a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
So my friend Doug Williams, I lived with him when I interned. He calls it a ruling.
Shout out Doug.
Love
Armetta.
Doug.
We love you, Doug.
So he calls it a ruling. So he, with all his guy friends, they are all pilots, so they just have all this language with it, like, whatever. But he'll like, you know, him and Sandy will be in an argument, his wife, and he'll call and he'll be like, I need a ruling. Was I being like rude here? Like, lay out the situation, and then he'll be like, give me a ruling. Be as honest as you want to be.
Yeah.
And they'll all give like feedback.
Yeah.
And so I've started to do that where I'm like, Chelsea, I need a ruling. Was I being this? Was I being that? Like, be honest. And so I think inviting honesty from friends in those moments is so smart and wise.
Yeah.
Okay. Such a good question, Ethan. Yeah, I think, and also inviting God in, like, all right, Lord,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be a hard conversation. I can't control how they respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I hate conflict, but it really, unfortunately, is one of the greatest sharpening agents
It's true. It's true.
to becoming more like Jesus. Okay, sorry, this is going long, but I think it's such great content.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to like work with my friends today. So last question is this. How have you seen Jesus through your friends? And we've kind of been talking about this the whole, but I didn't know if you had a moment or a story. I think a lot of us will have moments with like God will speak through pastors, God will speak through counselors, God will speak through his word, worship. I do think God speaks through friends. I think, have you had a moment where you feel like God has spoken through a friend, or then Jesus, like a friend has been Christ to you in a moment?
Yeah.
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 It doesn't have to be anyone on this table, but it can be. I can share about you too, Chelsea, in this one. I feel like you have, you are like a place where I can have my most like raw and real emotion without judgment. And it doesn't mean that those emotions are always like the thing I'm going to act off of, but sometimes it's nice to know where I'm at. You know, like sometimes you're like, I don't know where I'm at.
Yes.
Like I'm this, I'm that. And so I feel like you're a friend I can call, and it really is like the safest place for me to be sad, angry, and just to process those things. And so I think the space you provide is really, really, really safe. Like there's no emotion I could show to you or feeling or even thought, even if it's like messed up, like I'll leave and be like, that was I need to work through that. That like your love and care for me isn't going to change based on any of those things. And so for me, it helps me actually enter into prayer. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know I thought or felt that. That's something for me to like pray and think about with God. So you're just a landing space for me for that. And I do think it is. One of the reasons I think God had me intern in sports, I always say this, because I wanted to I wanted to teach. And I was like, Holy Spirit, what am I doing? I'm interning at this church. Do I do youth? That's where people teach. And then I really felt like, I feel like I'm supposed to do sports, like intern in sports to like learn from Chelsea. And then Spencer and Chelsea has become family to me. And now that I am teaching and I'm in a pastoral position here, I can't imagine not having friends like family as I do this job. Leadership can be lonely.
Yeah.
And isolating, and you can't show all your emotions, and you can't, there's just some things you have to be composed about. And so I think God knew what he was doing in like giving me infrastructure of family that like would allow me to have safe places. And so you're that for me. I would say that's mine. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
That
thanks,
means so
friend.
much.
Love ya.
I love you. Well, I'm going to say mine about you too, because I feel like, and the question is like, how have I seen Jesus in my friend? So how have I seen Jesus in my friend Casey? I'm like going to try to not cry, because I feel like recently, like it's very hard for me to show any sort of like vulnerability or like emotion that isn't positive.
Yeah.
So like I just brought something to Casey that was very tender and very sensitive, and I was just met with complete like not judgment and and just wisdom from Jesus. I just felt the Holy Spirit through her words, and I just, I don't really know how to put it into words, but I think I was like, I need to talk to someone about this, but didn't feel like I could talk to anybody, and I needed someone outside of my husband to talk. It wasn't about Spencer or anything, which is saying, but I'm like, when I talked to God about it, right? But who is my friend that I go to that is like going to give me sound biblical wisdom straight from the heart of Jesus? And that's Casey. And I feel like, I don't know, it was just a really sweet time for me to be like, to feel safe, like you said, like have a safe place. Cause there's not a lot of that in this world, like, anymore. Like I think a lot of times I have maybe a hard time trusting friends because I'm like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to go tell someone else about this, or they're going to badmouth me behind my back. Like that's happened to probably all of us. Right. And so it's always in the back of my head, like, is this going to go somewhere else if I share this? And that like is just so sweet to have a friend like that where, that is just safe. And I know that she will give me wisdom, and again, no judgment. And like, I can't really put into words, but I hope you know my heart.
Thanks. No, I love you.
That's good. And one thing that you said that I want to echo is that I think it's okay for people to know that not everyone needs or should have access to everything that you are going through.
Yeah.
And that you can keep your circle small.
Yes.
For your personal health.
Yes.
I would say I have 3 guys in my life, Ethan being one of them, that I will literally tell everything to.
Yeah.
I can be real and raw. I know that they'll call me out and hold me up. I know that I just know like I'll receive the love and I'll get prayed for. They'll follow up.
Yeah.
And my story won't get misconstrued. I know that it's a safe place with them.
Yeah.
And so I never go in thinking like, is this ever going to turn out bad? Am I going to get bad advice?
Right.
It's like, no, like these are the guys that God has put in my life who I know is my, what do they call it? My like fight club.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's good.
That's dope. No, I just see I'm just going to share a different story only because I feel like you 3 echoed the same, like, I don't know what verse it is, but it's the Lord is my refuge.
Yes.
And how it's just interesting that all 4 of us, when we think of how have I seen Jesus through my friends, I've seen the refuge. And so I just wonder how many people there are listening, watching, whatever it is, that when you look at your friends, are like, do you have a refuge? And so I just think that's super interesting. So I'll share a different story, but I do want to echo that of like Jordan is one of those, like he is one of my refuges. Like I can tell you everything and I need to tell you everything because that does help me become a better person and be the person I know God's called me to be. And so I would say I've seen that exact same thing. For me, I've seen the faithfulness of God through my friends. When I was going into my senior year of high school, I was kind of doing the same thing you were doing where I was leaving these are all my friends, that party. And it wasn't that I was leaving them. It was that I was removing myself from the party because I radically fell in love with Jesus. And I was like, I want to start doing everything I can to live for him and show people him. And I'm not doing that when I'm out on a Friday night with this group of people. And so in that season, I remember telling like, man, we probably had like 12 of us that we would go to parties together like weekly, every week, multiple parties a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, recoup on Sunday, go to school on Monday. That was the thing. And I remember I told all of them, like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't like the person I am when I'm out and the person I'm becoming. And it's not you guys. I just need that boundary. I can't do it anymore. And I remember I was driving home after that conversation and I just was praying and I was like, well, God, I guess it's just you and me because I got no friends and I'm jumping into my senior year of high school. Those are all my friends. Wow. And it was all built on partying. And so when I left the party, we had nothing to talk about anymore. And as I'm driving home, I got a phone call from a friend that I had 3 years ago that I hadn't really talked to in a couple of years. And they were like, hey, do you want to come hang out with us? Like we just thought you'd want to hang. It was like the weirdest, most random thing. And I was like, guess so. I've got no friends and no plans ever. I guess I'll go. And I did. And those friends that I found that senior year of high school, I still regularly talk to a good chunk of them. And I just got to see the faithfulness of God. But it did require me to take a step of faith. And so maybe there are people listening, watching that you're watching this because I need good friends. I want to learn what good friends are. And what my story reflects is God is faithful when we are faithful. And so, man, take a step, send a text, reach out, remove yourself from a place that you know this isn't I'm not the person God's calling me to be, and then watch and live in his faithfulness to you, because God does know what you need, and he does have people that want to be a refuge for you. We take a step of faith, and he is and will always be faithful, I believe, to that. So yeah, that's what I've seen through my friends.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that you brought in the sovereignty of God, that God wants us to be in good relationships. I think sometimes we think we're the ones that want that, and God's just kind of chilling. But it's like, no. God has provided, these friendships for us, because he knew that we would need people to lean on that love him and that are going to push us towards him. And so I love that, Ethan. Guys, sorry, we've got a little longer, but it's been so fun. And I think this is such great content for our young adults. And so we're going to close this one up, even though we could talk about a million more things. But young adults, but before we leave, send this to anybody who's struggling with friendship, or maybe just relationship in general. Or DM us if you have any questions or you need any resources regarding friendships or relationships. But guys, Young Adults is a room in the house of Red Rocks Church. And so please come and say hi to us. We have Young Adults on Thursdays at 7 at our Lakewood location. And then on the weekend, we would love to see you at church. You can find Jordan if you want at the Arvada campus.
AVD.
Saturdays at 5, and then Sundays at 8, 10, and 12 at our Arvada location, our Littleton location where Ethan is one of our youth pastors, our Park Meadows location, our Lakewood campus, where usually I am. Sometimes I go visit Jordan. And then Chelsea's hanging out the Arvada campus. She used to be on our sports team.
There's
a
common theme right now.
The Arvada campus, sorry. But come say hi to us. We are pastors through and through. We love you guys. And so if you're like, hey, I listen to the podcast, I have some follow-ups or anything like that, come say hey. We love you guys. Share and send and subscribe. Talk to you later. Bye.